Hello, thanks for tuning in. If you're on Rifle Online, I appreciate you. Rifle fans are the best. And if you're on my new channel, which right now is going to be called Retirement, Rock Music, and Trucks, those are the things that I love, then welcome. This is the second part in my retirement series. And basically, I am looking at retirement as a new chapter, a beginning, not an end, a beginning that I have needed desperately. But I wanted to today talk a little bit about the etiology that brought me here, the reason that I feel like I needed to retire, maybe earlier than some. So I started working at a very young age. And what I mean by that is when I was, like 8 years old, I wanted Converse Chucks. I love them, still wear them all the time. And, Dad wouldn't buy them for me. He said, he'd buy me the Sears Winners. They're made by Converse. Well, Dad, they don't look the same. Or they buy me Buddies. But, his thing was if I wanted Converse, then I needed to earn money and get them. I understand where Dad was coming from, and the purpose of this is not to bash my father, but at 8 years old, I probably didn't need to make my own money. He could have got me some Chucks, but I went out and started mowing lawns. So, and when I think back, it was a different time, but my daughter is 30. I don't like her mowing grass with a power mower now. I would never have let her run around the neighborhood unsupervised mowing grass at 8 years old. But I did. I would take, my bicycle. We all had the 20-inch bicycles with the banana seat and stuff and the little sissy bar. And I would literally tie my lawnmower with a piece of rope to the sissy bar and drag it along and use an old milk jug filled with gas that I just put on the handlebars, ride around the neighborhood like that, finding lawns to mow, cleaning out sheds and garages, running to the store for people, which was a big thing because back then, a lot of times wives would stayed at home and husbands work. So I'd go to the store for them and they'd give me money. So I started earning money, my own money at 8 years old, so I could buy Chucks. That's where it started. I worked consistently mowing grass and working on people's houses, helping them do things until I was about 11. And that's when I really, really started playing music. There was an amp that I wanted. And, of course, Dad wasn't going to buy that. And he, wouldn't buy my Levi's. I also wanted Levi's. So, sorry. So I picked up a job working at the store was called Convenient Store, but we were one of those small convenience type stores that sold gas and stuff. And I worked under the table on the weekends and after school. He just paid me cash and I stocked shelves. So I bought the guitar amp that I wanted and I bought my Levi's. So I worked pretty well full time, until I was 16, and then I got my first job, which is at Ray Thomas Shell, which I loved. And then I went from there. It doesn't really matter where I went from there. The whole point is I've been working a lot of hours since I've been 8. And that's just too long, 8-year-olds shouldn't have to worry about where their money comes from. And there's a huge dynamic I'm not even going to go into, family dynamic. And maybe, I'll go into it at some point in this series in the future, but right now I'm not going to. So I think that with all that, going almost immediately into management, I worked at Ray Thomas Shell and then Little Caesars. And then, I went into management at Giotto, and I've been some type of manager of some sort, and well, of course, a nurse too. Since it's worn me down. So after all these years, when I had the opportunity to retire, I took it. I didn't know. I mean, I'm still scared. I have to be honest. I didn't know exactly how I was going to accomplish retirement, and I will tell you throughout this series what I have done to be able to retire. But one thing to keep in mind is the most important thing is your health and your well-being. And I was losing my health and my psychological well-being from corporate nursing and healthcare in general. And I'm not blaming healthcare or corporate nursing. It was just a long career, and I had such a long career prior. So here I am at 59, pushing 60, and I just retired. Now I am working some, and you got to have at least a side hustle, And I've discovered that for me, I had to have a little something because I just couldn't take not having a job. I mean, I work around the house like mad, and I'm pretty hyper anyway, but I had to have something else. So I work at the New View Lounge, which I said before, at New View Bar and Grill. Excuse me. I love it there. It's made me feel so satisfied, I think is the best word. I work 3 nights a week, and it gives me enough money to help out with the bills, and it just gives me something to do. Gives me something to do, so I'm not focused on. I don't even know what I've been focused on lately, honestly. Just focused on anxiety. Things are getting better. Retirement has been rocky for me. Slowing down was way harder than I thought, and that's something I'll touch on more as well. I didn't think that slowing down would be hard. I thought that would be the easy part. But I think from working, I mean, let's be honest. Most of my career, like a light week would have been 55, 60 hours, whereas some weeks 85 hours. Going from working those kind of hours and weekends and the phone constantly going off, emails constantly going off, to not working was so hard. I don't know why, but it really was. I think that I touched on this in the last video a little, but I had built up so much anxiety and stress. I mean, I just lived with so much stress that I used it like a shield. And when that started to dissipate and the anxiety was falling off, I felt vulnerable and scared, which is getting better now. But I'm still struggling with it. I can't lie. I am still struggling with it some. But I knew that this was the right thing for me to do, no matter what. And if I didn't, even though physically I'm in very good health, I knew that was going to change. So here I am. I'm working like 3 nights a week. Two of the nights are only 4 or 5 hours. One is 8 or 9 hours, and it feels so good to be part of a place, meaning the New View, where I feel at home. I think it's the best way to put it. It's not that it's easy. It's busy. It's a crazy place actually, but it's a whole different mindset, and everybody there is so supportive and so nice. And knowing that the decisions that I make at the New View Bar and Grill mainly affect me. I'm not making decisions that affect hundreds of people, their finances, their health, etc. And that just feels good. So here I am on this stage of my journey, getting used to having time to myself, which, as badly as I need it, again, it takes some adaptation, oddly enough. Um, this is I am looking at this as a completely new chapter in my life, not the end, but the beginning. I hope, I have a lot to live still, and I feel fantastic physiologically. Psychologically, things have been shaky lately with this. They really have. Um, but I've been under so much stress, and I've been so anxious for so long that was bound to give. And I think that me giving up on healthcare was the best bet, as opposed to who knows what was going to break within me. And I don't want to know. So some of the ways that I made this happen, which I'll talk about some, is, as I moved up the corporate ladder, etc. My wife and I, we never bought a bigger house. We didn't buy a lot of cars. We don't like to travel, so we just don't like to. So we don't spend a lot of money on vacations. But all my friends, they buying bigger houses, nicer cars, and all. We never did. So if I did anything right, that was it. And I would suggest that, keep your life as minimal as you can. So now, we have the same little house that we got when we got married. It's almost paid off. It should be paid off within about a year. And, our mortgage is so low because we've been here for so long. We don't have any car payments. I've pretty well always bought cars for cash. I like older cars anyway. So that's been a positive. We don't have credit card debt. I've never used credit cards. I have a couple I'll get groceries on and pay them off immediately, just to keep my credit score up. But we did not mire ourselves in debt. So that is the saving grace here for me. I didn't need the corporate money. We're able to live comfortably, you know, with me just working part time. My wife does work full time, but she's 11 years younger than me too. But she got out of corporate nursing as well. I mean, she still works in healthcare, but she does not work in corporate anymore. It gets to be a lot. It really does. So right now, I mean, we're at a good place. You know, I think the hardest part is I was very accustomed to not having to worry about money. I mean, everyone worries to some degree, but I didn't think about buying something. If I wanted to buy something, I just bought it within reason. Now I can't really do that. But I have so many things that I have purchased and that I own that I haven't been able to enjoy the way I should. So I don't really need a lot else. I mean, I I have thousands of records. I have Les Pauls. I have basses. I have amps. I have a lot of things that I am going to start enjoying and have been enjoying that I really just couldn't enjoy the way I wanted to before. So that's the next part of the journey for me. I want to learn how to enjoy the moment, and that's something that I've always struggled with. Very ADHD, hard to live in the moment when you're ADHD. Um, but I'm learning, and it's important. Also, something I discovered about my ADHD is over the past, several months, the H is slowing down. It's lessening. I'm not quite as hyper, and part of that it could be age. The A, D, and D are all still very strong. But I think a lot of it is just losing some of that work stress. So I'm able to relax a little more. Something I haven't been able to do in a long time. I started being able to sit and watch an entire movie, for instance. Every night that I'm off, Olivia, our kitty, and I, we have movie time, and we sit and we pick a movie and sit on the couch, usually around midnight, 1 in the morning, because I stay up till about 3 now, and we watch a movie together. And you know what? That's been therapeutic in and of itself. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to continue this series, and talk about retirement, more so post retirement life, and you know, where I'm going from here. But please, make comment about your work, maybe how you feel about your work environment, or your retirement plans, and we'll support each other. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for tuning into the new channel, and if you haven't yet, please do. I'll leave a link to it somewhere, and I'll keep posting these on Rifle Online as well for now. But I think I will just move this over to my personal channel shortly. But again, love one another. Listen to Rifle every day. Rock on.